When was the last time you were actually blown away by a turkey? I mean, let's be honest. Usually they're dry, they're bland. I don't even know why they're still the centerpiece of every Thanksgiving dinner, really. I think it's just tradition. The turkey you're going to see in this video will turn a turkey hater into a turkey gobbler, I guarantee it. Even my 16-year-old daughter, who doesn't like turkey, lit up when she tried this turkey. And I want to go over a few things on how I did this turkey here before we get into the video, so you know exactly what to look for. First, I brined the turkey, and I normally do brine a turkey, but this time was a little bit different. It wasn't just what was in the brine, but it was the entire process of preparing the brine and how long it was in the brine. This is a 20-pound turkey, and I brined it for 30 hours. After it was done brining, took it out, dried it off, and I applied the rub right then and there. Once a rub was applied, it went into the refrigerator on a rack where it would sit and dry out the skin overnight before I cooked it. Now, the cooking process. Before it went into the smoker, I stuffed this bird full of onions, carrots, celery, rosemary, garlic, oranges to really fill the cavity to help balance out the way it cooked without having that open space in the bird. Not only did it help balance out the cooking, it also added extra flavor. Now, into the offset smoker that bird went, and I burned nothing but splits of natural oak the entire time to give it that nice smoky, oaky flavor that was amazing. And I kept the temperature at a nice low 225 degrees until the bird hit an internal temperature of 120. Now, keeping it low like that allowed the temperature throughout the bird to come up nice and slowly for a good, even cook. Then, I added more wood to the firebox, and I got the temperature up to a range of around 350 to 400, and I let that extra heat finish cooking the bird until it reached an internal temperature of 160. I know the normal target temp is 165, but letting it get to 160 and then taking away from the heat into the house to a dry area and where it was just warm, and the temperature would continue to rise. Once I got it in there, the temperature went up to 165, even a little bit beyond to 169 everywhere I checked, before it leveled out and started coming right back down to 165, and oh my gosh. Now here's where I screwed up, because I do these videos on my own. I'm out here with freaking messing with lights. I got my GoPro, my cell phone, you know. I'm not a professional videographer. I cook stuff, and I'm trying to share this info with you, so I wish I would have done better on this part, but the carving of the bird and the tasting of the bird was freaking incredible. I wish I would have shown you more of this, but every part of this turkey was incredible. From wingtip to drumstick, all the way deep to the center of the breast. Everything was juicy, everything was cooked perfectly, and the flavor was off the chart. I've never had a turkey that had so much flavor through and through, and it was incredible. If you follow these steps, if you duplicate exactly what I did, even if you're using a pellet smoker, you should get similar results. You're going to be blown away, I promise. Save this video because you're going to want to use it next year. I hope you enjoy this. Don't forget to check the description of this video for recipes, links, all the stuff you're going to need. Also, of course, I always welcome your comments and questions. And if you like what you see, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. All that stuff helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate you. Welcome to Tone to Tone Barbecue. Let's get to work.
All right, for this brine, you're going to need ice and water to total about 3 gallons. I used a 7-pound bag of ice and a 1-gallon pitcher to mix. Flake kosher salt, 1.5 cups. You can use table salt, but it's more dense, so if you do, maybe cut the amount in half. Brown sugar, 1/3 of a cup. Worcestershire sauce, 1/4 of a cup. Garlic powder, 2 tablespoons. Fresh ground pepper. I recommend taking 2 tablespoons of peppercorns and grinding them. I prefer to use medley, which has more flavor. Click the video description for a link to a great spice grinder if you need one. 2 tablespoons of paprika, and of course you're going to need a turkey. This one is 20 pounds. If you're wondering if your turkey is pre-brined, I just brine anyways, and it's never been a problem for me. Lastly, you're going to need something to put this all into. This is a food grade 5-gallon bucket I picked up from Home Depot. Whatever you use, make sure it's food grade plastic, glass, or non-reactive metal like stainless steel. We're going to cook this brine to really bring out the flavors and blend everything together. So you're going to need a medium-sized pot. Start off with 4 cups of water, bring that to a boil, and then add everything. Once everything is in, keep stirring and bring it back to boil and cook while stirring for 5 minutes. The mixture will be pretty thick, so make sure you keep stirring. After 5 minutes, turn off the heat and add another 4 cups of water. This will thin the mixture and bring the temperature down. Stir until everything is nicely dissolved. Once the brine concentrate is ready, grab your turkey from the refrigerator and get it into the bucket or whatever you're brining it in. Mix your brine concentrate with ice to immediately bring down the temperature. The brine needs to be ice cold. so we don't raise the temperature of the turkey to above a safe range. I did this by putting the ice in a 1 gallon pitcher, adding the brine to the ice, and mixing before pouring it into the bucket. Once you've got all your brine in the bucket, if any of the turkey is sticking out above the water level, go ahead and top it off with water to cover. Give it a little stir to make sure it's mixed, and then store it in your refrigerator. I brine my turkey for a minimum of 24 hours and a maximum of 48 hours. I generally go for about 1.5 hours per pound.
All right, this bird has been bathing in the brine for about 30 hours, and anywhere from 24 to 40 hours is good. I like about 1.5 hours a pound, so we're good. Got to get it out of this bucket and onto this rack here on this pan. And what we're going to do basically is we're going to take it out, we're going to rinse it really well, we're going to pat it dry, and then we're going to apply rub, and then it's going to stay on this rack, and it's going to go in the refrigerator where it's going to stay overnight until it's ready to cook tomorrow. Now, when we rinse it, we want to make sure we do a nice thorough rinsing on the entire bird. We're going to take it into the kitchen, put it in the sink, and do that inside there so we can do it safely. And you just want to make sure you get all the brine off the surface of the bird so that way it's not overly salty. And here we go. Let's get this thing out of here. It's going to be fun. Okay. All right, there it is. That was easy. All right, turkey's out of the brine. It's on the rack here that's going to rest overnight in the refrigerator. We're going to let this skin dry out overnight so that way it'll help with give us a nice crispy skin when this cooks. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and apply the rub also. And what I've got over here is just a mixture of fresh ground pepper, salt, garlic, and paprika. I like to use fresh grounds. I like the metally, the multicolor ground peppercorns, and I use 2 tablespoons of that, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of garlic, and 1 tablespoon of paprika. And on the salt, I like to use the kosher flakes salt, so it's a little less dense. If you use regular table salt, maybe cut that in half because table salt can be a little bit high salt there. So we're pat down nice and dry. I'm going to try to toss as much of the rub into the cavity as I can, let it spread around in there. And then I'm going to flip it over, do the back, and then we'll flip it over, do the top. We'll try to get around everything. And then, after it sits overnight, tomorrow morning, before we, stuff the cavity with a few things, we can always go ahead and reapply some more rub too if it looks like some of it's kind of got knocked off. All right, we've got enough rub on this bird for tonight. So now I'm going to put it in the refrigerator just like this. Not going to cover it, not going to wrap it or anything. We're going to leave it in the refrigerator overnight so it'll help let that skin dry out. All right, we're going to be cooking this with splits of natural oak just like this one here. But to get started, like I usually do, I'm going to be filling a chimney full of Jealous Devil lump charcoal. And we're going to start off with that just to get the fire going. And this is a new bag, and I got to get past some of the giant pieces here. Maybe save those for later. But yeah, let's get this thing loaded up. That'll do. All right, fire up the old chimney starter here. All right, this lump charcoal is ready to go, so let's get this in the offset smoker. and we'll let this start to heat up. Now we're just going to make sure that the intake is wide open and the exhaust is also wide open, and we'll just close everything up and let it come up to temperature before we start adding the oak splits. All right, this turkey's been chilling in the refrigerator overnight, letting the skin dry out a little bit there, and it's time to get it ready to go into the offset smoker. It is going to be about 1:30 by the time we get into the smoker, and we're going to see how long it takes to finish. We're going to cook it at around 225 degrees until it hits an internal temperature of about 120, and then we're going to crank up the temperature to about 350 to 400 degrees, and we're going to finish it until it gets to 160, and then we'll take it out and rest. That should create a nice good crispy skin on it, and we'll be looking real good. So to get it ready, we're going to go ahead and stuff it with some aromatics. We got some carrots, some celery, some orange, garlic, onion, rosemary. Just chop these up and stuff them up inside the bird. Just stuff in as much as you can, and that'll just add some extra flavor and help even out the cooking temperature. All right, we've got our bird stuffed up pretty nicely here, so we're going to go ahead and tie up the legs, and it'll be ready to go in the smoker. All right, legs are tied up, ready to go. All right, we've got our bird in the smoker. Pay no attention to the delicious looking pork shoulder over here to the left. I'm doing two things at once, so if you want to see what's going on over here, you're going to have to subscribe to my channel and watch. We've got our turkey in here. I've got the wingtips tucked underneath. It's stuffed up nicely with the oranges and everything else. And we've got a thermometer probe here stuck into the deep part of the breast. This is to a ThermoPro TP25. Which I'm going to be using to monitor the internal temperature and the ambient temperature of the cooking chamber, so I can watch that remotely. Very simple, easy to use. This thing will send the signal directly to my cell phone or to my tablet, which is what I usually use, so I can monitor the temperature. I'll know exactly when to come out here and crank up the heat when it's done and all that good stuff. So we'll be doing that. If you want any information on that or any other tools that I use in my cooking videos, please check the description, and every now and then there might be a link up in there somewhere for you to click on. Okay, quick note about smoke quality. We're about an hour into the smoke, and we've got smoke flowing out of here, but it's hard to see, and that is perfect. You want a nice, thin blue smoke. I'll show you what the fire looks like in the box here. Burning real nice there. Oak, wood, that's all we're burning. You notice I've got a couple, 3 other pieces over here that are in the firebox. Those are just getting nice and hot. So when I add those on top of the coals, they burn light up instantly, so you don't get a lot of dirty smoke for very long, just for a few seconds maybe. This is going to be beautiful. It's going to be so good. I can't wait to show you. I want to show you something that's freaking irritating to me. Okay, look at this right here. We're temperature gauge right there. Now I'll come over to the other side. Temperature gauge right there. We're like even temperatures from side to side. It's the same, off by just a couple of degrees. That is nuts, because usually this side over here close to the firebox is super high, you know, good 20 to 30 or more degrees higher than the left side. And I installed the Lava Lock baffle plate into this a few days ago, and my gosh, what a difference it's made. Not only is it even side to side, but also the fluctuations have been way reduced, keeping much better within the cooking range that I am going for. And it was super easy to install too. And wow, I wish I would have got it a long time ago. You know, I like sharing things with you that actually work, and this is one of them. So I suggest you check it out. You can go to the website. It is smokermods.com. There'll be a link you can click on and check the description. And if you add code TonyTone10, you'll get 10% off if you want to get one of these for your offset smoker. Okay, this turkey went into the offset smoker at 1:30. It is now, oh, if you can see that, it's 4:30. So it's been cooking for 3 hours at an average temperature of about 225. You can see that we're running 221 degrees right now, and it's the turkey's at an internal temperature of 120 degrees. So now we're going to go ahead and crank up the temperature in this firebox to so that it's burning and putting out enough heat to be in the range of about 350 to 400 degrees cooking temperature here. And we're going to finish this bird off and keep cooking it until it hits 160, and then we'll go ahead and pull it. All right, I've added extra wood to the firebox, and this bird will put out the type of heat that we need to get it up to around 350 degrees. All right, this bird has hit my target internal temperature of 160 degrees. Now the final destination is actually 165, and you can let it finish cooking all the way up to 165 if you want, but I like to do 160 and then let it finish coming up to temperature as it sits in a nice warm spot in my kitchen. There it is. She's looking good. Oh my gosh. All right, time to take this out of here. We're going to let it rest in a warm spot for about half an hour to an hour, and then we're going to carve into it. And there it is. I even left the ThermoPro plugged into it so I can watch the final temperature come up. Okay, like I said, so you can see the temperature has continued to rise, and we're up to 166 now where the ThermoPro is inserted. And bird's looking really good, so it's just coming up nicely. And if I were to stick my lightning probe directly into it, and let's find a spot, there we go. You see down there in the thigh, we're at 156, 157 and climbing. So everything is evening out. And this bird is going to be looking really good here in about half an hour. All right, the time is now 6:15. And you can see the internal temperature where the probe is here into the breast is showing 168. It actually went up to 169, and it's on its way back down now. And remember earlier I poked the ThermoPro Lightning into the thigh, and it was showing 157, I think it was. Well, it's come up to 166 now. So you can see the temperature just kind of kept rising for a while. The timeline was this went into the offset smoker at 1:30, and we cooked it at an average temperature of 225 degrees until about 4:30. And then we cranked up the temperature to around 350, and it took about an hour and 15 minutes to hit that temperature of 160 degrees. So we pulled it out at about 5:45, and so it's been sitting for about half an hour so far. And I'm going to let it go another 15 minutes, and then we're going to carve into it, and you'll get to see what the inside looks like. All right, it's 6:30. The bird has rested long enough. It's time to carve into it, so let's have a look. We're going to just go ahead and, I just want to show what this looks like on the inside. So I'm just going to take off a chunk of this breast, and hopefully this shows up well. Remember, I just cook stuff, not a professional photographer or anything like that. Not great at setting things up like this, but I'm just going to take off this breast right here, and let's have a look at that. And that's a beautiful chunk of turkey breast. It looks nice and moist and delicious, and it's perfectly cooked. Let me go ahead and take off a piece. I can see the skin's got a nice little bit of crispiness there to it, and man, it smells amazing. Look at that. That's a nice piece of turkey right there. And breast is so easy to dry out. So I'm going to have to eat this whole piece right now. It's kind of a big piece. So here we go. Mmm. 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 I'm not kidding. That is the best turkey breast I've ever had in my life. Wow. Mmm. Oh, it's so good. That's all I'm going to show you, all right? Okay. I've got some other videos you can check out. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and, look at the history. There's other videos. I've done deep fried turkey. I've done spatchcock turkey. There's a few. Check that out. This method, though, is my favorite. All right? This has been awesome. This has been a lot of fun. I hope this has been educational for you and hopefully a little fun. Got any questions, comments, please let me know. I'll do my best to respond. Don't forget to check the description for links to various things like the Lava Lock baffle plate, ThermoPro products, and other things that I use all the time that you will see in all my videos that I'm happy to recommend to you. And it helps me out too, so I appreciate that very much. Once again, thank you for watching. This has been Tony Tone BBQ, and have fun.